30-year-old student studying for a PhD in computer science at Columbia University in New York. Last night, just before midnight, Geary was walking through Morningside Park, right next to Columbia's campus. That's when, out of nowhere, a man knifed him in the stomach. Geary collapsed and died a short time later. Then Geary's killer knifed a 27-year-old Italian tourist who had arrived in New York just days earlier. According to a witness, the tourist yelled, "Why? Why? Help me." The witness said the suspect was, quote, ecstatic and howling with glee as he repeatedly plunged the knife into his unsuspecting victim. A few minutes later, the killer threatened another man with a knife before cops finally arrested him. Authorities identified the killer as Vincent Pinckney, a member of the gang Everybody Killers. He was out on parole at the time of the last night's stabbing spree. He has 11 arrests dating back nearly a decade. In 2015, Pinckney was convicted of gang assault for repeatedly slashing a man in the face. None of it was enough to keep him.
Okay, this was happening. They rotate criminals, mind control people. You know, you don't know if he's from the gang. He's just been mind control, sent there to stir up the pot, kill a white guy, and expecting, you know, the white people retaliation. You start getting the war going on again inside the country until everybody else will eat you alive, and they're not gonna care if you're black or whatever you are inside United States, as long as they can take over those nuclear rockets and all that, so they don't have to worry about it. Then it's all over. And they usually, those rockets, they're not gonna be used unless by some psychopath, you know, and the psychopath may use them, just like this one, going to kill somebody. For what purpose? Where are you going with this? Huh? The only place you go is creating again racial wars and all the other stuff. So I'm saying black people should protect black people. Let's put black officers in there, so they not say, oh yeah, it's, you know, if some of the officers get attacked and all that, and something happen, then I cannot say, oh, he's the white man now, it's the white devil now. You right? They like to point the finger, okay, these guys.
Behind bars. So last night, he headed to Morningside Park, the same park where exactly almost 2 years ago, 3 thugs ambushed and murdered a first-year Barnard College student as she was looking down at her cell phone. After a year and a half of defunding the police and building monuments to George Floyd, Morningside Park hasn't gotten any safer. Think about the implications of that. Authorities can't even secure a park a few steps away from one of the most well-known universities in the world. If it's dangerous there, it's dangerous everywhere. The New York of the early 1990s is back. And it's not just New York. Many of this country's biggest cities are going backwards in the same way. The city of Philadelphia, my hometown, just set a new all-time record for murders. The 513 murders in Philadelphia this year breaks the city's previous record of 500, which was set in 1990. Just days ago, a 14-year-old boy in the city was shot 18 times.
Samir Jefferson, a 14-year-old Thomas A. Edison High School freshman, was waiting for the bus near Wyoming and Rising Sun in Feltonville Monday after.
There you go. Who the hell's gonna go shoot somebody 18 times? For what purposes? Right? He's not getting money. He's sacrificing himself to stir the pot. Okay, I told you they're gonna kill a white guy, they're gonna kill a black guy. The shows keep going on. It's one and the same story, okay? It's not changing. So it goes this way.
Around 3:30 p.m. when police say 2 people got out of a car and chased him, firing off about 35 rounds. Jefferson was hit 18 times and ran a block before collapsing. The Rite Aid at the busy intersection was covered in bullet holes Tuesday.
This is happening all over the country. Louisville, Kentucky, Tucson, Arizona, and Columbus, Ohio have also set new murder records this year. And with just under 2 months left in 2021, Indianapolis has broken its criminal homicide record for the second consecutive year.
Okay, so if people cannot live together in community, mix with other races, people, it should be a separation. So if blacks wants to kill, let them kill only blacks. If whites wants to kill, let them kill only whites. They'll pay the price. Uh, it's always every killing cause somebody, an enemy, and another reason for another killing, and he can revenge on totally unsuspected people. They have nothing to do with, with the murder on the real, the real murder that been under my control. Whatever control him to do that, and just to show his superiority over the others or something, whatever the reason. So this is how things got stirred up. This is how, if we cannot work together, then we're gonna be a separation. Okay.
Cook County, which includes Chicago, just surpassed 1,000 homicides for the first time since 1994.
I've never seen 1,000 homicides for the whole 17 years I've been in this office.
Cook County's chief medical examiner on the report released by her office with some very alarming statistics. 1,009 homicides to date, which is the highest in 27 years. 156 children or teenaged victims. 96% of the victims African American or Latino, and a 40% increase in homicides since 2019.
Okay, again, Latinos community, black community, Chinese community, I don't care what community, don't mix each other. Obviously, it's not a good idea. Okay, and you're never gonna stop killing each other. And some groups are like bigger on numbers. They think because they're bigger on numbers, they're stronger. They take over the others. What they not see. What are you gonna do after you kill your neighbors and all that? You're gonna start killing between yourself, just like Shaka Zulu. He wasn't a white guy, he was a black guy, but he's selling the black guys to somebody else, right? He cannot sell them to another black guy because they're all blacks. But see, if Shaka Zulu, black people have some other race to trade with, again, greedy, love American greed, and all the other stuff are you invisible killer, man. And doesn't matter who you are, how strong you are, you can see what happened with so many empires, that disappear by now. The message is that those monuments left behind are like, hey, look what's left from us. On the end of the day, don't make the same mistake. If you can read that message, and then those architects try to figure out what is on the the pictures on the walls and all the other stuff, but they don't see the big picture.
Several of those homicides have cut down students at the University of Chicago, which was once a hotbed for the defund the police movement. And by the way, an increasing number of these crimes are committed by juveniles, who usually aren't charged.
Yeah, well, that's a plan. That's part of the plan. Financial co-ops, and then all these juveniles, they don't know what they're doing. They think killing somebody will get them somewhere. Actually, what is getting is like this person, he cannot be trusted because he's gonna be considered a killer, and nobody can trust him because he may get killed by him. So they're gonna looking to kill him. So this killer basically will never ever sleep to the rest of his life, which is not gonna be too far because he don't know shit about life and not never think about that far. This is their future, like the movie The Road. They show you the movie The Road, and that's how it's going on. They'll try to keep that things going on, but trust me, there are higher powers than that. That numbers doesn't matter anymore in today's weapons and lasers and all other stuff. Numbers can be destroyed real easy and real quick. So, but they won't. They like to watching you killing each other. So if higher power comes here and say what's going on, well, nothing. They just killing each other, and we watch them and protecting the earth. And that's it. And they're right.
As adults, remember the two teenage girls in Washington, D.C., who carjacked and killed an Uber Eats driver in broad daylight? They were both sentenced to juvenile detention until they're 21. They're getting just a handful of years in prison for murdering somebody. Gangs recognize this, and they're encouraging more kids to get involved in the criminal activity. In Chicago, authorities just arrested a preteen for carjacking.
The Vehicular Hijacking Task Force arrested an 11-year-old on November 26 for felony aggravated vehicular hijacking. Let me say that again, because that shocks the conscience. Our task force arrested an 11-year-old.
Meanwhile, in St. Louis, shots rang out as the mayor was talking about gun
11-year-old. So they get him, brainwashed about this stuff from earlier as 2-3 years old. They're watching their parents, their community, how they do things, and they follow the same trend. They just copy it, okay? And they don't know what's coming for them. They think, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like this guy, have money and all that. But once you go on this guy's funeral, you find out all the money and treasures on earth stay on earth, okay? So you don't take them with you. St. Peter didn't take cash at the door. So you gotta think about that too.
prevention.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? My son and I fall asleep to the lullaby of gunshots in the distance every night because I'm the first mayor in over 20 years to be born, raised, and still live in North St. Louis. And it's unfortunate, yes, I heard it, but I didn't flinch because, it's a part of my life now.
What's the common thread, Lincoln?
All the black people that try to, raise their voice against the violence and all that, they're also under threat from their own, from their own people, because they basically look at them as, hey, you're not with us, well, who are you? You're going nowhere. Where do you think you're going? You think take over United States and black people take over United States, take over China, take over Russia, take over the world? Oh man. And that's what you think, okay? You just start taking over yourself first and fix what's wrong.
All these cities, look at who's funding the prosecutors. In St. Louis, Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's campaign took more than $200,000 from a group backed by the billionaire.
Yeah, look, this guy. He looked like Star Wars, the evil Sith there, the crime scene. George Soros. Yeah, like Soros wound. I mean, come on, man.
George Soros. Soros knew what he was paying for. Gardner was open about her desire to stop prosecuting crimes. 2 years ago, Gardner declared, quote, "We have to tear down the system. The system's going to do what it's going to do, and that is to cause harm. The system is caused harm by what is called mass incarceration." Through on that promise. Data from 2019 show that Gardner issued warrants for just 23% of the cases brought by the St. Louis police. Soros has also funded DA Larry Krasner in Philadelphia, Kim Foxx, Chicago.
So Soros, Wall Street people are the real one controlling things around, together with the, Federal Reserve chairmen. Yeah. They causing me cough, from far away, but it's okay. Anyway, so that's what going on. Ain't no Biden fixing the economy by 2024. Okay, let's get that straight. There ain't no Biden. It's the people who Biden takes the money. If Biden don't have control of his own money, which is the Federal Reserve, will not allow this to happen. That's why they create all these wars and all that, um, because they cannot survive here if higher power boost up things around. Okay, so at that point they wanna, they wanna at least hold to what they can, but so far they don't go to the table of obedience. They go to the table of destruction. So that's their choice again. Just don't get confused with press secretary talk.
Chicago and George Gascon in LA. There are no campaign finance limits on these local elections, so Soros is free to spend millions on them. And he's not the only one doing it. In San Francisco, some of the richest people in the country got Chesa Boudin elected DA. A PAC supporting Boudin's campaign received $1 million from the wife of Dustin Moskovitz, who co-founded Facebook. This so-called Real Justice PAC supports prosecutors like Boudin across the country who want to ignore the laws on the books. One big supporter of the group is Patty Quillen, the wife of Netflix's chairman Reed Hastings. Boudin's campaign also directly received tens of thousands of dollars from Caitlin Krieger, the wife of Instagram's co-founder. As a result, San Francisco looks like this.
The sounds and sights of Union Square are not as pretty today as they usually are. Windows are boarded up at Louis Vuitton, crews replacing an entire door at this Yves Saint Laurent. Windows are shattered at Burberry with a hole still left over on its door. Wooden boards also covered the windows at Hermes. A witness captured the moment people tried to break in.
When I passed by.
Okay, so again, these people are not stupid. They know if it causes violence. And the people that pay, that on the pocket of the billionaires and bankers control, if these people turn around to some point, they have a plan B. They always have another plan. Now that's why they built all these prisons and all this, ahead, because who built prisons before the prisoners to come? Somebody who knows there will be prisoners in the future. So they want to get money from from the city for supporting the prisons. It's still like gotta understand, these people are genius for making the money. Okay, they create the money for start. So that's why even Jesus kicked them out the temple. Okay, the temple is like the White House. That's the temple where everybody goes. So in the temple, corruption going on. The bad part of the people will be always unbeatable until they got corrupted, but they don't see what they're doing. Okay, the money is not everything, and where the money come from? They come from resources, from trades, from things that higher power put in place. Okay, so once they lose their creativity, the connection, then they start eating like parasites whatever they can, and until people get their consciousness back on track and start doing the right thing and not to worry about fear. They putting fear right now doing that kind of stuff, but they're way worse things than just people running down the streets and breaking windows. Okay, and you lucky you get just that, because they playing way worse things than this one. Now they're gonna try to start looking the good guys, but they're not gonna work anymore because they're all so over, guys. So doesn't matter what happened from that point, they will be known.
Hermes, they're a group of people. I would say it's really around 100 people. And then after I passed them, they just started to try to get into Hermes, and they start cracking the glass.
Union Square is off.
So Biden's gonna go help Ukraine. He cannot stop 100 people in San Francisco. I mean, you believe that? See, believe, be naive. Got it? Don't believe. The facts are talking, the results. Beliefs and whatever doesn't work anymore.
The target of organized retail theft and looting.
If you're wondering how to stop all this and get crime under control, it helps to remember where we've been before. Take a look at this chart. It shows how police budgets have changed since 1994, the last time crime was completely out of control in this country. Those budgets have gone up 46% in the last 2 decades.
Another mistake rich people make, they think they can protect themselves with the wealth when the wrongdoing, so to speak, karma comes back to them. They think they can get away. Oh, by the way, they have advanced technologies. They show you in the movies, they clone people, they transfer consciousness. That shit you won't believe. But anyway, the consciousness may go into another body, but once if it been discovered what it does, okay, it's like a virus in the computer. Okay, once the central computer find out what the virus does and causing destruction for the whole system doesn't work right, then he gotta start taking and start making the changes, okay, whatever they are. If it's infection, you gotta cut a lake, you cut a lake, okay. Lake can be fixed later, but if the infection keep going through all the system, and this cannot be fixed. Basically, infection is all through all the system, but because the virus cannot exist without the system, so he keep the system alive, and that's why is all this, growing and good times, certain period of time, and then they have bad times coming later on, and then they have good times again and bad times. But I don't know if we're gonna be any more good times this time, because the weapons of destruction are too dangerous, and who knows what's gonna be next future.
Now look at the effect on homicide rates. They dropped 32% per capita. In other words, increasing police budgets helps. That's proven. But it's not the full solution. Cops can only do so much. You also need prosecutors to punish criminals. One researcher at the University of Texas found that about 25% of the 1990s crime drop can be linked to increased incarceration, which only happens when prosecutors get convictions. That's not happening nearly as much as it should be. So how can we fix this problem and save our cities?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.